Today is Tuesday, December 14th, 2021, and this is the start of the Hanson Board of Selectmen meeting. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I should mention Chairman Dyer is a little under the weather, so we hope you get better soon, Matt. Would you like to do the announcements, Selectmen Weeks?
My pleasure. So announcements, we are looking for citizens at large to become members of the newly revitalized Bylaws Review Committee. Volunteer applications may be found on the town website, www.hanson-ma.gov, or by calling the Selectmen's office at 781-293-2131. Volunteers are also needed on the following committees: the Bylaw Review Committee, Capital Improvement Committee, Conservation Commission, Cultural Council, Disabilities, Facebook Upkeep Committee, Highway Building Committee, Historical Commission, Memorial Day Patriotic Observance, Memorial Field Trustees, Nathaniel Thomas Mill Committee, Parks and Fields Committee, and Zoning Bylaws Review Committee.
And Recreation.
And the Recreation Committee, good call. And then we have upcoming meetings, Board of Selectmen, January 4th, 2022.
Mr.
That is
Vice
all.
Chair, if I may?
Yes.
Selectman Hickey, would you like to mention the gala?
Coming up this Saturday night. It's already been closed. I mean, I'm sure we're not gonna turn people away, but they needed a head count. But yeah, if you wanna come on down, pick your own theme.
Where is it and what time?
It's at 6 o'clock at the
At the Lakeside Villa.
Lakeside Villa. It's got a
How,
new
who would
name.
people reach out to if they were so inclined to get a last-minute ticket?
They could reach out to Audrey Flanagan or myself, or to you, and I'll make sure they get tickets. Yeah.
And it's
Or to
Saturday
Town
night,
Hall.
the 18th.
Yeah, or to Frank.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Hickey. Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn out of open section and convene an executive session to return to open session to conduct strategy sessions in preparation with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining session or contract negotiations with non-union personnel pursuant to Mass General Law C 30A, Section 21, to wit, town administrator and the police chief, to discuss with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of a public body, and the chair so declares, to wit, Katie Didlane.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, looking for we're gonna vote on getting out of open session, then we'll vote to go into executive session. All in favor? Okay, looking for a motion to go in executive, go ahead.
Oh, because if you are willing to consider taking these out of order, we can do the second one first and then the first one second, since we have the parties here for the second
Okay,
item.
all right, so we'll hold off going in. Under new business, which ones do you want to do first, Lisa?
Oh, no,
No, an executive.
it's still an executive session, but.
Oh, once we get in there, switch them around?
Switch them around, yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yep, all right, not a problem. So we got a vote,
Roll call vote, maybe?
yeah, roll call vote to go in executive session, thank you.
Aye.
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 We're now in executive session. To the Selectmen meeting. The first thing is, we have to announce the police chief, we made an amendment to the police chief's contract. We increased his salary by 2%. Laura's got the effective dates.
Yes, 2% effective July 1st of 2021. And then we also voted to give him Juneteenth as an additional holiday. These were already budgeted and voted at the last town meeting, but we hadn't actually addressed his specific contract until this evening.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve Chief Mixer's contract.
So moved.
Motion's made and
Second.
seconded by Mr. Hickey. All's in favor? 4-0. Okay, next, we made an agreement with, we have an amended agreement with the town administrator for a salary increase effective November 1st, 2021. And also, we agreed to buy back 5 days of Lisa's vacation time. That's also gonna be amendment in the contract. I just wanna state, we voted on the salary increase and also the job title change back on October 19th. We voted on it in executive session, we just failed to come out in open session and actually vote on that, okay? So we're gonna be doing that tonight. Chairman Matt Dyer, approved once after we voted the next morning, he signed off on a paper for accounting so it could increase, Lisa's salary. So I just wanted to let you guys know that it was voted on, the chairman, signed off and approved. We just didn't vote on it in open session, which we're gonna do right now. So I'm looking for a motion.
And then tonight in executive session, we voted to award 5 vacation days to her.
Yes, did I say that? Okay, and we also voted to buy back 5 vacation days for Lisa as well. So we're amending Lisa's existing contract. So I'm looking for a motion to agree to the terms of Lisa's contract.
So moved.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? 4-0. Okay, next up, under new business, good energy presentation, Patrick Roach, aggregate energy savings plan, public review period. Hi, Patrick. Step right up. He's got a presentation for us.
Great, thanks. So,
It's good to see you in person. Last time we saw you on the screen.
yes, nice to see you all in person too. I'm a little smaller, I guess. I'm gonna actually have Mary Ann, start this off, so, why don't you introduce it?
Yes. Hello, I'm Mary Ann Damasio. I'm the chair of the Energy Committee, and just wanted to be able to introduce, I guess Patrick has been here before, but just to say we've been working with Patrick on the Energy Committee on an aggregation plan. They've been very responsive. Since we voted at town meeting in May, they've signed, we did some research, looked at other towns, and we ended up going with Good Energy, having some very good feedback from other local towns also. So just wanted to point out some of the things that have happened so far, and then Patrick will be talking about what is happening in the future. So far, in May, the town meeting voted to authorize aggregation, and community choice aggregation is having, it's almost like a buyer's club for electricity, where we'll be able to negotiate a rate for electricity, and the town members will get that rate. There are a lot of steps to go through on it that Patrick will talk about. So we voted to authorize it. Then we partnered with Good Energy as an energy consultant. The town does not pay for the consultant services. It's part of a law in the state of Massachusetts. And at this point, we've worked with them, and he's worked with the town administrator on an aggregation plan that is a draft plan. So that's where we've been so far, and Patrick is going to talk about where we're going.
Excellent. Great, thank you very much. Great, I'll see if I can get that back on the screen there. Might have
Sure, it didn't come on board.
just gone to sleep. Taking a little break. There, I'll try to.
Check out the good old,
The
plug
good
it
old,
back in.
exactly, the best approach.
Yeah, hopefully that worked. I'd
Yeah.
say just give it a moment.
Give it a sec.
All right, Heather.
We had it going because we saw it on there.
Yeah, right. The big blue screen, that's our plan. Okay, great. So that was, thank you, Mary Ann, that's sort of what's already been done. And so where we are, as Mary Ann said, this is a program to create new electricity supply choices for residents and businesses in the town of Hanson. And it starts with the town meeting authorization, and then what the next step is to develop a plan, an aggregation plan that governs how the program will be run and operated. So we've worked with the committee and Lisa to develop a plan, and it's based off of effectively, sort of our best practices working with other communities around the state. And now what we'd like to do is bring that to the public review stage. So a chance for the public to review and comment on this. And at the end of that, there's an official public hearing, which we usually do at a select board meeting. Again, people can provide comments there. And then what would happen then is the select board is able to vote on the plan to sort of approve it and to then move it to the next phase, which is state level review at the Department of Public Utilities. At the same time, we do a consultation with the Department of Energy Resources. It's sort of a parallel process. But ultimately, once the state approves the plan, which is rather formulaic, they've now approved over 130 different plans, so we have a really good sense of what they're looking for. But that can take a while. They're fairly slow, unfortunately. But once they're approved, then the town is in a position to be going out to bid for an electricity supply. And that's where we would be the broker in that case, representing the town, advising on when to go to bid, what conditions, would be an acceptable bid for you to accept. And you're never under obligation to start this program. So say after the public review period, the plan's reviewed, you vote, you approve the plan, move it on to the Department of Public Utilities. You then, we get approval from the Department of Public Utilities, then you're sort of just ready to go, but you don't have to. So in some cases, the market might not be in a good place, so we wouldn't want to advise you to move forward. You might want to wait a few months. Or there might be other reasons why you might want to say, we want to push pause on this, or we've decided, we've reconsidered the whole thing and don't want to do it. So you're never under obligation to move forward. But then once we do get an electricity supply bid that is acceptable to the town, then the town would sign that, and we'd have a start date and a launch date. And one of the key roles we do is an extensive education period before launch, which we'll talk a bit more. But the idea is that we want to make everybody aware of this new program coming, because it is effectively a new default electricity supply for the community, and people can opt out and come in and out of the program as they please. But I'll talk about the enrollment next. So that's sort of a process of where we're headed.
Once the plan is submitted and approved by the Department of Public Utilities, if we wanted to hit pause, how long are you able to hit pause for? Is there a time frame? 1 year, 2 year? Is it evergreen once they've approved it? What's the situation?
Yeah, it's evergreen. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
great.
And as Marianne was saying, the way we work, our services our cost for our services is recovered in the electricity supply rate we ultimately procure. So if you decided never to move forward, that's okay with us. We're working at risk, and there's never anything owed to us.
Okay, great, thank you.
So the plan, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is sort of in the draft plan that's been developed so far. So the goals what they're sort of guiding the plan with the committee have been on expand consumer choice for electricity supply, so create new options that aren't there today. Provide advantageous and predictable rates for electricity. So you'll see there we say savings cannot be guaranteed. We want to be transparent that compared to the utility rate, which changes every 6 months, and we only know 6 months in advance, we cannot guarantee perfectly that we will save money. But I can say that our track record has been one of providing savings to our communities over the contract term. And one of the great things with this program is we can get longer rates. So instead of changing every 6 months, and as you may have seen, National Grid's rate this winter really spiked up, we'll be getting a fixed rate for 2 or more years. So, and we can have an opportunity through this to go above the state's renewable energy requirements, to use more renewable energy, support the growth of renewables. And ultimately, this is a town vetted program. So compared to sort of the open market that residents have available to them today, this is sort of, you're overseeing the contract terms, and we have the buying power to dictate good terms. So those are some of the overarching goals. And this is in terms of a reminder for what the plan says for what it's like to be a participant when this rolls out. So before launch, once we have a signed contract, we know the actual electricity rates, the renewable energy levels, we'll start this education outreach period. And it's an automatic enrollment program, the way the state law is written. So if you are on basic service today with National Grid, which is effectively if you have not made a choice of a supplier, providing your supply by default, and that's called basic service. So you're eligible for automatic enrollment in the program. And what we do is everyone who's eligible for automatic enrollment at least 30 days before the program starts, gets 2 different pieces of mail notifying them that the program's starting, here are the rates, and here's how to opt out if you don't want to be part of it. And that includes it's a phone call, web, or a postage paid mailer. So we make it as easy as possible. And at the end of that period, if you haven't opted out, you'd be enrolled into the program. And if you're someone who's already made a choice of an electricity supplier, you're able to join. We're not going to do any automatic enrollment with you. You'd have to proactively opt in.
So can you just kind of drill on that, because that's one of the sort of like objections that I've heard people say, like, oh, well, you know, my grandmother already had a deal and she's gonna now be opted in. But what I'm hearing you say is that if you've already made a choice other than, you know, the basic service, then you will stay with that unless you affirmatively elect in.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
That is exactly it. Yep. And also what's great is that if you have solar panels on your roof and you're getting credits for that through net metering, this doesn't affect the value of that. And if you're on a low income discount where you get, I think, maybe 30% off the cost of your entire electricity bill, that still continues. So those programs are not affected, which is nice. And then National Grid will still continue to handle the billing for everything. They'll still continue to maintain the wires and the poles. So if there's a storm outage, they're doing all that. And that automatic enrollment is part of the state law, and it's how we get the buying power to make this program work. But people can leave, as we said, before the program or anytime during, and there's no fee, you're out the next billing cycle. So what you'll see in the plan is a suite of 4 different products, call them electricity supply products. So one of them will be the standard, and that's the one that if you do nothing, you'd be automatically enrolled into. And the others are optional that if you want, you can choose. And the idea is that we want to try to provide a suite of products that kind of meet the range of people's needs, whether they're looking for the lowest cost or the most renewable energy. The standard product is designed to be kind of a win-win on both the economic and environmental front. So we're using our buying power to try to get a great rate. We're gonna also increase the renewable energy a little bit above the state standards. And the idea there is that we do it a little bit so that everybody's power is a little cleaner, but we're still competitive with the utility rate. And that when we look at across the whole town, that little bit on everybody's bill of extra renewable energy adds up to a pretty big impact. And this is a strategy that a lot of other communities in Massachusetts are doing. Rockland nearby is one we work with. They've been doing this since, I may have the date wrong, but probably since 2018. And they're doing very similar. Their standard has 10% additional renewable energy. And I don't have their savings numbers offhand, but we have generated savings for them over their contract term. And that's the case with, we have, I think, at least 15 other communities that are implementing the same kind of strategy. So then there are these optional products that if you want the lowest cost in the program, that would be the basic. It just meets the state's minimum renewable energy standards. And then you could go to a 50% renewable or 100% renewable if you're looking to have sort of really higher impact personally.
Okay, but the default will be the standard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And we would really size that so that we want to make sure, we're competitive. And the idea would be that we're not launching this program unless we're below the utility rate, even with that additional renewable energy. So education outreach is huge for this. That's a really big focus. So as I mentioned, the program is going to launch. We have rates. We know the prices. We know how long they're good for. So then that's when we really start the education and outreach. So first we start off with a postcard that goes to everyone. And the big important thing with this is that it's branded as the town of Hanson. This isn't, because we really want to distinguish from the other electricity offers you get in the mail, from Clean Choice Energy and whoever. So this is a town program, so you don't see our name, you see it's Town of Hanson. So the postcard is the first introductory thing that says, hey, it's a town, we have an electricity program coming, and we advertise the date of a community meeting to learn more. So then a couple days later, a letter comes, and that letter is a sort of official opt-out letter. It has all the rates, all the options, it tells you you're about to get automatically enrolled, tells you how to get out, and includes that postage paid mailer. And what we try to do is, sort of before that letter drops, and then during those 30 days afterwards, is work on other forms of messaging. So, working with the town and the committee on social media, on press releases, interviews that we can both post online and do cable access, coming to select board meetings. So reminding people this is happening, giving them a chance to ask questions and to opt out. And then the nice thing is, of course, once the program does launch, you can still get out at any time if you want.
And Patrick, so you do this massive, launch and communication plan and all that, and yet you will have people say, I didn't know about this, or I have questions. Who are they gonna be referred to if they have questions? If I read all this stuff and I see this stuff on social media but I still have questions, who do I call?
Yeah, great question. So what we'll do is, we're the front lines for customer service. So, I mean, you will get calls to town hall just because people will do that. But the materials will have a number for the program, and that number will go to us. It'll go to Good Energy. So we'll be answering on behalf of the town, and we'll be handling that and resolving those questions.
Great.
And yeah, the biggest thing is we do get people who say, I still didn't hear about it, and we say, no problem. We first make sure they understand how it compares to the utility, because often at the time, people are just a little worried that they didn't hear about it. So then sometimes they decide, okay, that's great, well, I'll stay in. And if not, we'll say, you can give us your account number, we'll get you out right away.
Thank you.
Sure. So what we are, so coming back to sort of the next steps, that's sort of a little overview of the plan. What we'd be looking to do, the statute requires a public review period of minimum of 2 weeks, but what we're looking to do is sort of open the public review period after tonight, which I'll talk to you about how we'd get the word out. We'd have the select board meeting, I believe, on the 4th, where it could just be a small agenda item to remind everyone that the public review period is going on. And then we'd aim to hold the public hearing on the 25th. So people could be submitting comments an entire time and then come and deliver comments here too. And that would give, really well over a month, which is probably good with the holidays in there. And I did just want to put this reminder down here. The program is definitely not launching this winter, so with the high national grid rates, we expect there to be a lot of door-to-door marketing. So just want to be clear, the town's program is not launching this winter, so you won't see anything from the town. But that would be the proposed process. And at the Board of Selectmen meeting on the 25th, if you guys decide on that schedule, after the public hearing, you'd have the opportunity to vote to move the plan ahead to the Department of Public Utilities. And what we would do to promote the public review, we've built a website called hansocommunitypower.com. It's going to be, we'd link it from the town homepage on, like a news blurb, so it would be linked right there. It has the draft plan, and it also has a few pages that help you just sort of understand at a high level what the plan is about, because the plan is ultimately somewhat of a legal document, so it's a bit dense, but the website's designed to walk someone through that. We'd get hard copies to town hall and the library if someone wants to review it, hard copy. And then we'll do sort of a notice on the cable access channel that can run, that the public access is going on. We'll get some flyers out, do notices to the Whitman Hanson Express, and also do some social media things. So try to promote that.
Have we thought about doing anything to target the seniors, like maybe working with Mary Collins at the senior center? Because I could see that this would be maybe a little bit overwhelming and seem a little scary, because there's a lot to it. And I'm just wondering if that might be an opportunity, for outreach.
Yeah, I'd say definitely during launch that we would probably do a specific meeting with them. And so we can definitely reach out to them to let them know about the public review. What we kind of tend to find is that right now, we don't have a ton of specifics since we don't have a rate, we don't have the renewable energy, and we find that that's most important when we do. It's most important to reach out to particularly the senior community at that time when we know the program is coming, here's what's happening.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I know you're talking about this, I kind of was thinking back to your social media blitz and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yes, so definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, yes, would reach out. And I think there's an education outreach portion of the plan itself, and I think we mentioned them in there.
Great.
Yeah. So that is, I'm trying to keep it tight so we can get to questions, but that's really, that's really it there, so.
So if everything goes as planned, the way that you laid it out, and I know it's not perfect, when would you anticipate the launch?
The Department of Public Utilities process is a bit of a black box. They're not required to review our plans in any particular deadline. I think we're gonna be at the DPU for at least a year.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
Yep, so I think we'd be, a spring 23
Okay.
launch is, spring or summer is probably realistic. We're hopeful things will move faster there.
Excellent, you answered my question. Anybody else have any questions?
Kind of, but you can go first.
Patrick, if I heard you correctly, you said there's 110 communities
Yeah. the
state
number-
already.
Yes, who do this, yeah.
How many
I
of,
think it's a little higher, actually.
how many have good energy done?
We have over 50 municipal clients, and I believe our number of active programs is over 40. So the others are either, in the
Wow, that's
stage.
great.
Yeah.
So that would give me, or that would give you, plenty of data for my next question, which is, how much will people save?
Yeah, so these programs will, we aim to provide savings, but it's always sort of relative to your electricity bill. So we're looking at, for a typical household in Hanson, maybe, depending on where the utility rates go, maybe $60, $70 a year. So it's not massive, for sure, but it is a little bit, and particularly with the stability.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get the idea of using, good energy, well, not good. Yeah.
No pun intended.
Right, no pun intended, but somebody like that set up a lot of Halloween lights or Christmas lights might even save more money with this,
I don't know who does that.
Hypothetically, yes.
okay?
Yes, yes.
And it's, and I just want to make sure that people understand, it's not really about saving money, although you will, it's about the energy that we use, and using the cleaner energy, and it's not just about saving money. So my last question would be then, I like Laura's suggestion about the senior center, but another word I haven't seen in a long time was robust. It's easy to put it on the board,
Sure.
and it's a 30-day period, and I don't want to hold you to anything, but is it once a week, or are you at one meeting on a Tuesday and somewhere else on a Thursday? And I know you can't answer that, but now that I put it out there that you're gonna have a robust campaign, I'll be looking for it.
Sure, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we'll work with you guys to figure out what are the right venues. Probably doing some virtual too is nice, it's easy for people to attend, so, yep.
Good.
Yeah, so some of my stuff kind of piggybacks off what Jim just said, but I think, it's more of like a recap. So I guess, for the best buying power, the entire town's moving into this program, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so, because I'm thinking about my grandparents, for example, who, they don't typically, I was saying before we came back into open session that my kids watch this every single selectman meeting, every single time there is one, but my grandparents don't. But I know that they watch their bills like hawks. So I think one of the things is to go off of this, how do we reach those folks to ensure that they know that even though the entire town's going into this, and I think it's fantastic anytime we can kind of give back to the planet in a green way, I think it makes sense. So to kind of get the best buying power, to save some money if we can, anytime we can use more renewable energy to be a little bit more environmentally conscious, is fantastic. But to really kind of bring the point home that even though the town's going into this, and if somebody misses something like this, their bills are gonna look different, but they do have these options to be able to, if comfort-wise, they like National Grid for the ease of comfort or whatever, they can go back to that. If they already have these contracts already done on an individual level, those still stay the same. I was also thinking about, you know, if for folks that have, because I don't have this, so I don't know enough about it to have an informed opinion on it, but solar panels, things along those lines, none of that will get interfered with. This is simply just trying to have the best win-win-win moving in to a system like this. And if folks do have some level of fear, discomfort, that they can go back to their original if they needed to.
Yeah, you summarized it perfectly.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have it kind of wrapped in
Or
a bow if we
opt out
can.
if they want to opt out, right up front.
Right, right. And then, so let's just say they opt out, and then they decide, okay, they're seeing everybody else kind of go into this, and they're seeing the benefits of this. Can they opt out and then opt back in?
Yes, you can. The one caveat I'll say to that is, so if you're like a large industrial customer, they are not necessarily guaranteed the program rate, and that's just to reduce the risk for the supplier. Because when we put the data out to bid, you know, they know the load they're bidding on. Most of the industrial large customers, and I'm not sure how many there are in Hanson, but they're already on their own competitive supplies.
Okay.
So they're welcome to join the program, but they may be offered like a market rate at the time.
Okay.
And then same thing, and on the residential side, if you participate in the program and leave, so say this would not apply to those who opted out before the program even started, if they never participated, but if they were in and then left, they're welcome to come back. And technically, the supplier does have the option to offer them a market rate. And the reality there is the supplier's looking to, I guess, sort of minimize risk that you have a wholesale, half the town leaves for 6 months and comes back in. And so in the reality, it's onesie twosies, and they don't bother with offering people market rates because it's not worth it for them. So from the residential standpoint, it is really, if you want, come out, come in.
So even if it was, even if they opted out, came back in, offered a market rate, just for the sake of argument, it's still, it would be market rate. They wouldn't make or lose any more money than they would if it was just whatever their traditional supplier was, National Grid.
Yeah, and they would have to, and it would be a transparent process. It would be, this is the rate we're offering you. So they could also say, oh, okay, I don't want that.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So, and then because we buy into this in multiple years, if they opted back in, they could still take advantage of it once the new contract rolls out, and it
Yeah.
would be fine. Okay,
Right.
just want to make sure.
Yep.
All right.
And I assume, are schools in the town buildings going to be opted in?
Question.
Probably not. Usually the town accounts are already on competitive supply, and and we usually keep, the town accounts usually stay on their own. One of the reasons there is that this program, there's no termination penalties if any individual account wants to leave. And so, you know, generally in, say, the town's contract, there's probably a termination clause, which protects the supplier and probably gives you a better rate. Because these programs are really designed for residential consumers and small businesses. So although we do get large users like the towns, you know, sometimes participating, it's often not the best place for them. It's the best.
Do we know if we have a competitive rate, Lisa?
I think we do, yeah.
What are you saying? Are you saying we do not?
No, Jim Armstrong said yes.
We do have a
Yes,
competitive
we
rate.
have a
Yeah.
similar aggregation program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't say that, right?
No, yeah, I'm glad, because I was just.
No, that's
you know,
correct, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
So any more questions for Patrick? If not, we're gonna move on.
Taking some from the audience too?
Go ahead, Frank.
Do you
Just
have? do you have-
identify yourself.
Oh, sorry, Frank Lee, 604 Brook Street.
Thank you.
Do you have public data for the rates that you guys have in towns that you offer compared to the National Grid rates? And also what you guys charge for a fee on top of those rates that you have?
Sure, so our fee is actually consistent across all of our communities. It's $1 per megawatt hour, so $0.001 per kilowatt hour, so it goes into the fee. And that's in our contract with the town, and so that's consistent across communities. And then for the data, all of the programs we run, we have a community website where we have the rates, and you can see how those compare to National Grid. We don't have that compiled publicly anywhere, but I did have a I did have a slide here of actually how Gloucester and Rockland have compared, just to get a sense, but don't have that anywhere summarized. Yeah.
Okay, Patrick, thank you very much. We
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Mary Ann, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, just point of order. Do we have to, are you looking for a motion for the public's comment?
I think so, yeah. I don't know if you necessarily feel you need a motion,
Yeah.
but we'd like permission to move forward with the public review period with that schedule.
I was gonna use that slide with the
Oh.
dates on it, but.
Oh, sure.
Can I just say, I'd make a motion to accept the proposed dates for the public, what is it, January 4th, 25th?
And then 25th, yeah.
Yep, January 4th and then the 25th for the
25th
open.
of the open public.
Right,
the
well,
open
yeah, we'll sort of open
Yeah.
it, I guess tomorrow, we'll get the plan out with the website, and then reminder on the 4th, and public hearing on the 25th.
Okay, so
Gonna move that?
make a motion to,
Yeah,
Go with that
I didn't know we
proposal.
had to move it,
Second.
sure. Then second, I guess.
Second?
Okay. All those in favor? 4-0.
All right, excellent.
Thanks
Thank you very
again.
much.
Patrick.
thank you.
We'll see you next year. Okay, next up, IT update, security badges for town hall employees for entry purposes and town hall identification and security cameras outside of town hall. Ms. Green,
Yes, members of the board, actually, I'm going to turn this over to our IT director, Steve Moberg, to talk about these proposals that he is looking to possibly implement.
okay. Hi, Steve, how are you, sir?
How you doing?
Good.
I think I haven't met you yet,
No,
finally.
it's-
Nice to meet you. So I'm looking to get IT badges for all the town employees. That way for identification purposes, planner goes on site, he can kind of show who he is. Same with health agent, anyone else who, goes on site, plus around the town hall, people can be identified. So we've already purchased the printer and the badges, so we just have to start going. I figure we'd probably start doing that the first of the year. So
What's the cost of that?
the printer was about $2,300, and the badges are maybe $50.
Right, okay.
It's really kind of shocking, we haven't had them up to this point, to
know.
be honest with you. So I think that's great, Steve.
Yeah, so I think I did the research on the fobs versus the ID badges, and it's not quite the same as the schools, or the police station. There's some further discussion down the road at changing everything over to be like one system.
Yeah.
To make the police, the fire, and the town hall all use one system instead of 3 different systems.
Right.
Same with security
Like
as
we're
well.
gonna be doing with the phone lines and all that,
Yeah,
the
so.
fiber optics.
So the fiber is already on, all the buildings are all connected together through the fiber. The phones, that's another ongoing issue, where I've got a couple quotes for, going to SIP instead of the copper. We just have to sit down and kind of discuss pros and cons, and then just decide which way we're gonna go.
Do the badges have pictures on them, I'm assuming?
Yep, they will.
Okay.
So as soon as that, I'll take everybody's photo and we'll kind of set them all up, and you'll be able to identify the person by the badge,
Okay.
so.
Any questions?
Steve, will the board of selectmen have those badges? I'm
Absolutely.
in. I'm good.
So Lisa, are you looking for a motion, or is this just kind of an update?
Well, I mean, we've got a couple more things for, under IT, but I would like a motion just to show that the board is in support of the ID badges.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. Mr. Hickey?
And I was just gonna ask Steve about the security cameras.
Yes, so I am waiting on a quote back. Right now, there's an extremely large shortage of cameras, going across all different vendors that I've reached out to.
And the prices are up probably 30-40% on the
It could
cameras
be,
too.
I haven't even gotten a quote yet. So as soon as I have a quote from these 2 different vendors, I can kind of propose it, but right now I haven't gotten anything yet. But we've definitely walked around and got some quotes for the security cameras on the outside of the town hall. And right now, we're going to, be putting up we have a little Arlo that's already here. It's just kind of a, consumer-based, security camera we're gonna put out back because somebody's been illegally dumping in the dumpster out behind town hall. So we're gonna be putting that up just to kind of keep a friendly eye on it.
Okay, any more questions? So we're looking for a motion.
Moved and seconded.
Yep, that's right, I'm sorry, thank you. All those in favor? 4-0.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. Nice to meet you.
Keep up the good work.
Camp Kawani discussion on event rate increases. Aubrey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You,
Thank you.
Lisa. Yep.
This one's much prettier than the one they gave us.
Yeah, right?
Huh? Oh. Oh, you already have a copy of this? You already got one?
Not like
Okay,
this.
okay.
This is
Not
nice.
this
This is
one.
nice.
Oh, good, okay.
This is quality,
So, as you know, it's probably been, I actually don't know the exact date of the last time that we raised our rates, but it's probably been close to 10 years since the rates at Camp Kawani have been reviewed and updated. I put together a little presentation for you that shows our current rates and where we stand and where we would be if we didn't make a change now. So the current rates are listed here, but for just the purpose of the spreadsheet, I went with an average of $4,000 for a wedding. And camping, if they opt to camp in the south end, it's an additional $500. For fiscal year '23, we already have 56 booked weddings, which is a lot higher than our average because a lot of those were reschedules from the year of COVID, the time where we had to close the camp. Our average number of weddings a year is 40, so that's the number that we've based all this data on. Additional income that we receive, so up here at the top, the fiscal year, we have 34 available wedding dates still open for fiscal year '23. We're not gonna book all of those. Realistically, Dory thinks that maybe another 15 could come through in fiscal year '23. So leaving the rates where they are, that would bring in an additional $60,000 this year. With the 56 we already have booked, it's 212. And then for some additional income, we get 20% of the bar service, and that averages about $2,500 a month. Private parties, we average about 10 to 12 a year, and they're 400. And then, camping at the camping would, maybe half of those would book camping. Not all weddings do camping, so I'm basing everything on a half structure for that. And then if they're not having their ceremony there, they take $500 off the rate. So that's a deduction. That's why that's a deduction. So if we were not to change the rates, fiscal year '23, our budget goal is $350,000 a year. This would bring us to 306, so it would bring us under our goal. It's not terrible, but again, it's that influx of the weddings from COVID that have rebooked. Fiscal year '24, we have 57 available dates, because, that's almost 2 years out, so people aren't really planning yet. This is the year that we need to grab the increase. So realistic fiscal year '24, 40 weddings, that would bring in, if we didn't change the rate at an average of $4,000 a wedding, we're looking at $160,000. Additional income, same as in fiscal year '23 at 34, brings us to $194,000. So that's more of a typical year, which is way under our ideal budget. The next page is pretty much the same spreadsheet, but it includes the proposed increase. And this is an increase that we voted on at our Recreation Commission meeting on December 1st to increase it. We looked at a couple of different numbers, and $7,500 is what made sense based on our yearly budget goal. And a bump in the camping for the south end from 500 to 1,000, which sort of brings it a little bit more in line with what we're charging for, an average Joe to come in and rent the whole south end.
And Audrey, do we have a sense, or have we done even like a straw poll type of thing? Would we get the same number of bookings if we're charging 7,500?
Well, I did,
I saw the comps that you
Yeah.
did. with all due respect, some of them were a little, I thought, like the Red Lion Inn, I feel
Well,
like
those,
this,
I know that
Yeah.
it's very hard to find an apples to apples of
Yeah.
Camp Kawani. And the closest one that we found, I mean, there was a campground in Vermont, but the closest one we found was Camp Wing in Duxbury, and they're charging for a comparable weekend, $15,000.
Okay.
So they have cabins, they have a lodge, they have, on-site caretakers. They have, I listed all of their things, the ceremony on site, the pre-event visit, which we offer, they get, ample setup time, they get a Thursday night rehearsal with our package, on-site support, campfire, they have all of the same things, and catering is not included in that, which a lot of these other comps, you have to use their catering services
yeah.
because they're a restaurant. This Camp Wing, you have to still, on top of that 15,000, bring in your own caterer.
So that does seem pretty comparable.
Yeah, I think so. So going back to the 7,500, again, for fiscal year '23, 56, we can't budge on that $212,000. Those weddings are booked in there. But if we were to bring in an additional 15, that would bump us up another 112,000. The additional income, it changes a little bit because, we do have an increase on another page for our private parties. And it includes the increase on the camping. It also, has an increase to add an additional $500 if you want to have your ceremony on site instead of reducing that $500. There is a lot of work that goes into having a wedding on site. There's a whole other set of, chairs and windows dropping, and there's a quick turn so there's a lot that goes into having the ceremony on site. And then we have a new proposed kitchen fee rate too, which we can talk about on the additional rate. So, the total additional income bumps up a little bit, brings our fiscal year '23 to $373,250, which is in line with and that's not, again, there's 15 additional weddings, that's not guaranteed money. The 56 is all that we have that's guaranteed because that's what's booked.
That's based on 40.
That's based on, well, the top is fiscal year '23. That's based on 56 weddings.
Oh, okay,
Because
gotcha.
they're already booked. But down below, an average year, and this is going back historically, we had to go back a little ways for the data because the last couple of years have been
It
skewed.
would've thrown you off,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So the average number of weddings is 40 a year.
And Audrey, did we look at, changing the split with the bar service?
That actually is out to bid right now.
Okay.
The contracts for the bar service are out to bid.
Okay. And so, Lisa, is that something you're working on?
So our town council was helping out with the bid. I reached out to them and they said to check with Camp Kawani. So I'm not sure where it is in the process.
Okay.
So it's good that I can
Okay.
ask you where it is.
We don't know, yeah.
Okay.
If I may for a second?
Yeah.
So, legal counsel, town council asked us to go for that RFP.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, like, the bar service that we have right now, they're awesome.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right, but they specifically asked us to go for that.
I think it's been a while since we've even thought about going out to bid, like, we've had that bar service for so long. I'm guessing that's probably why she said it.
You always want to do that
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, but.
Right.
Just to
yeah.
keep them honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know?
being honest is fine, but it's kind of surprising that they would ask us to do that.
Did
if
they
they're one
draft
who
the
asked us to do
RFP though? Did they draft the bid?
I guess
We don't
that would be a
know?
question for Dory. Dory is under the impression that
Okay.
it's with town council, so I don't know.
Because shouldn't the RFP come from you?
Right, well, the procurement officer ultimately will be.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Lucia,
You
but,
can check on
So,
that and
yeah,
find out.
well, I mean, I reached out to
and-
town council,
and
so
get
I
involved
gotta
and
get
help with that.
with people to see where it is.
I just think that's just a potential, it might not be huge money, but it could be like another little revenue stream, you
Oh,
know, and it all
absolutely.
adds
Yeah.
up.
I do know that
Absolutely.
The last time this bar service went out to bid, he was the only gentleman who came in and actually bid on the.
Yeah,
bar service.
and historically, he has been, in my past history with the camp, he's always the only one who's come back with a
That's
with a-
interesting.
with
I
a
wonder
bid.
if it's the people just don't get it, don't know, because it's a good little gig, honestly.
And we have zero issue, the bar service there, the caretakers absolutely love it.
They're
Oh, yeah,
phenomenal.
they're great,
Yeah,
yeah.
Fantastic.
yeah.
Honestly, if there was another bar service that came in at 2% higher than the one that we have right now, I'd probably rather keep the one that we have right now.
Right,
So,
And just another question on the bar service, just because I don't know why, it's just sort of attracting my attention. Do we audit that? Like, how do we know that we're getting 10% of what their revenue is? Like, how do we have any idea?
We get a copy at the end of every function of the total sales in the register. So that gets submitted with their check quarterly.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Thanks.
Yep.
I think these fees make sense to me, I mean.
I know it seems like a big jump, but it has been a long time.
It's
and
overdue, that's the thing.
It's totally
Yeah,
overdue,
yeah.
and
And we
we
talked
wanna
about this
be.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we
Right,
did.
we
never
wanna
did it
be
then.
self-sustaining, and, unfortunately, so, the way that we look at it is that the weddings are where out-of-towners are coming, and we wanna keep it affordable for Hanson. So, if you flip to, we just talked about the area comps, but if you flip to additional rates, we've gone up on some of the camping, but still, it's not, outrageous. We're still very, much under what other campgrounds are charging. But under, so for additional fees with the weddings only, we want to start charging a kitchen fee. The selectmen are the town is getting a fee for the bar permit, and the, Board of Health is getting a fee for the caterer, and they're using all of our kitchen stuff and
Yep.
all of our, the stoves and this. So we want to charge, and that would be charged to the caterer. That wouldn't necessarily be charged to the renter.
And I think you guys can do that now. Before, the kitchen was a little wonky, there were things that needed to be updated, but it's in great shape
It is a
now.
great kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of our caterers always, they comment on how, great
Yeah.
the kitchen is and the space and all that. The wedding on site, like I mentioned, making that an additional fee instead of removing it from the fee. And then the additional setup hours and the additional, end of the function hours, those haven't changed. Those are $150. So if they want to come in, I think we offer them a 4-hour setup. Yeah, I think that they already get a 4-hour setup, and then they get the so it's like an all-day.
Yeah.
Event. So if they wanted to add at the beginning or at the end, we have those, fees there. The miscellaneous rates, our current party rate is $400 for a 4-hour function. We just want to bump that to $500. So it's $100 an hour flat, and that is, what the Hanson AA is charging too, which, would be our competitor
that sounds
in
fair.
that. And again, keeping it affordable for the residents of Hanson. Fundraisers, the same thing. We went back and forth on the fundraiser topic because of the, recent social media, issues that have came up. And we felt that a 5-hour flat, again, keeping it the same, because with a fundraiser, we're getting more money from the bar service. A bridal party, they're not gonna be a big bar night, but a trivia night or a comedy night is gonna bring in a bigger bar, service, so that would offset the cost of any additional efforts that go into a fundraiser.
So, like, for the library foundation, you're gonna charge them $500?
No, Hanson, departments get free rental,
Well,
so
they're not a department, it would be the Friends of the Library that
I don't
do
think they
that.
pay for the rental.
Oh, no, I'm just asking under the new schedule.
No, it would be, this would be for this would be for out of, if they don't come to us for a reduced rate.
Oh, I see.
Anybody can come
Okay.
to us for a fundraiser and ask
right.
us for a reduced rate.
I gotcha.
That is in our policies and procedures, that if you wanna come, if you're with the Hanson Girls Softball, let's say, because, and you want a reduced rate, you can come to the board and say, we don't have $500, can you do it for $300? We would approve it, and then you would approve it.
Okay, all
So,
right.
there are processes and, for that, so.
That's great.
Yep.
All right, so you're looking for, are you done? I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Yeah, so, we've gone through this. I did, at the very last page, gave you a quick estimated budget, like, just to kind of
I
give you
think that's
guys an
great.
idea
I
of,
saw it.
what our operating costs are. And, this isn't anything extra. These top two, sections with salaries and operating expenses are just, they're real costs, and, with $250,000 a year just in just operating costs, the camp spends, the weekly cost to operate Camp Kawani is $5,096.15.
Does that include our insurance? Probably not, just the.
No, this
Yeah.
is just, electricity and gas and water and building repairs and everything, salaries, the Cove, everything that goes
I mean,
along.
good job with this.
Really good
I
job,
haven't seen anything
No, this clear.
even
Yeah.
remotely close
And I
to this
compared it
in
to
my 7
fiscal
years
year
here.
'20 because that was our last full
Right.
year of operation, before COVID. So that's why I gave that as a comparison. And I adjusted some of the rates. We haven't gone over our budget yet for fiscal year '23. That hasn't, I think Dory's waiting
We're
for
gonna
some,
get to that
yeah,
process in the
exactly.
next meeting or so,
Yeah,
do the budget
yeah.
review.
So this was just me throwing some numbers in here, nothing
But you guys
firm.
all voted to approve these?
We did approve,
Okay.
we approved everything that's in this packet.
Didn't approve the budget, just the.
Yeah, just the rate increases.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's just
the-
informational.
The rate changes,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, so, and also, just a reminder, Hanson residents still get a 20% discount.
Yes.
So I'm still- and then also, Audrey put all this together and did a really, really awesome.
It looks
job
great.
Oh,
doing this
thank
whole
you.
presentation. She literally just brought it to us and said, did all the research and everything, so she did a really, really great job.
This is literally the most comprehensive, clear picture I've had of what's going on. No, it really is.
I was gonna say, exactly.
Like a Camp Kawhi, like it's great. Yeah.
And I just wanna say another thing, like, we absolutely need this rate increase in order to sustain a Camp Kawani. We don't wanna have to go to FinCom to ask the taxpayers' money here. We wanna be self-sustainable to provide recreation for the town of Hanson. This rate increase is a big step in doing that. We've been talking about it for a long time and it hasn't been done, so we definitely need this.
So through you, Mr. Chair, you kind of took the wind out of my sails, but I appreciate you saying that because I was going to say, the one thing that seems to keep going up and up and up are expenses and just costs
Right.
overall. And if we haven't done any rate increases in over 10 years, at some point, there's going to be a tipping point. And if we're trying to make it as self-sufficient as possible without tapping into too many taxpayer dollars to fulfill the great work that's being done.
Yeah,
And I
it
agree with
really
that.
was.
COVID, wedding revenue.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Right.
the tipping point was probably 5 years ago, if
That's
we're really
probably
honest
true.
with ourselves,
But,
yeah.
just to put it in perspective, the whole
Yeah.
thing is made out of wood. Wood's gone up 50-60%.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
I agree.
And you're not gonna see any relief from these increases for another year and a half anyways. So it's
Right.
not like it's gonna be
Right.
instant.
It's not, no, exactly. I mean, yeah.
You guys might be back in '23 looking for a increase for '25.
We might, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, we're not really gonna see the true benefits of this increase until fiscal year '24.
All right, I'm looking for a motion to approve, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry,
Can I
Jim.
add something?
Absolutely, you can add something.
And Frank, I can't believe we argued over
The cabin rate,
cabins. But Audrey, if I'm not mistaken, Hanson residents got 10%.
No, 20%.
Okay, because we were arguing over $4.
Yeah.
So,
we were
the,
arguing over $4.
yeah, the 20% is great. I honestly thought it was 10. And I know the answer to this, but people on the board may not, or people that may rent may not. So I just wanted it stated on the air. When you are looking for that additional hour at an end of a wedding or an end of a function, that is prepaid.
It's prepaid, yeah.
Cannot go to a caretaker and say, I'll give you $250
yes,
cash
absolutely not.
to leave us, to let us have another hour.
No, you cannot do that. It all has to be, yeah, because it has to be scheduled, and the bar permit has to have the correct times, start and end time for the bar service. So absolutely, and all of our caretakers know this is a very strict rule. At the end of the wedding, they can't say, please, can we have an extra hour? No, the answer is no.
If they rent the whole campground, they can take the party to the campground.
Exactly.
They take it to the campground.
Right.
That's,
Right.
Okay, I'm good.
Good.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Great job.
Thank you very much.
Frank, too.
Excellent work.
I just have one question, because it was brought up, at a meeting a while ago. These rates are effective immediately, right? So anything that Dory books this week, these rates would be effective.
Correct.
towards. So we don't have to start at the fiscal year with our rate increase.
No,
I
we
don't think
could-
so
we
either.
could
I
do
just
the
wanted to
increase.
As long as you're
clarify that.
booking it for that year that the increase is.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the increase is effective
Yeah.
immediately for, yeah,
Absolutely.
okay, perfect.
Yep, so if somebody calls tomorrow to book in July of 2020,
No, to be
No.
clear,
No, no.
if they want to book from this day on and they have not booked, these rates are effective.
Yes,
Right.
effective. The data was just for the fiscal year 20.
Right, okay.
It would be
Yeah, if-
effective immediately, okay.
If you guys have a function, a birthday party, or a
Yeah.
baby shower coming up in February or March, it's 500, is that what I read?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's 500.
Yep, okay.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
perfect.
Just wanted to clarify that.
all right, thank you. All right, so moving on, because we have a, wage and personnel hearing. Camp Quaney, vote to approve the purchase of 485 Winter Street, Hanson. So I think we all know that's the conservation property. We have Mr. Clemens.
Who's been extremely patient, waiting.
Mr. Clemens, what do you want to tell us about this?
Well, it's been a long process to get here, but I think the process has been thorough. It went through community preservation, a lot of discussion with the present owners. It went through, this board allowed it to go to the town meeting warrant. It went through town meeting, the voters approved it. The conservation has voted way longer ago to provide a supplement of $8,000 for anything extra. The plan is made, this paperwork would help to execute the plan.
Do we have a purchase and sales?
I have it right
That's
here.
what this is
You
about.
have it?
Yes, and
Okay.
this is the original for all the.
And it's in
selectmen to sign.
keeping with what we voted at town meeting, dollar amounts and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So it's probably just the chairman, or does it have all of us?
It has all the names. It has a line for everybody.
Do you accept a motion to approve the purchase of 485 Winter Street in Hanson?
Second. All those in favor? 4-0. Thanks, Mr. Clemens. We'll sign that at the end.
I have one question.
Yes.
I believe, unless it changed since I saw it last, that proposed a closing date of December 30th of this year. I would, from just my own information, so I can tell my board, we're meeting tomorrow night, the logistics of that closing, would it be the town administrator? Would it be just town council executing on behalf of the town? Would it be a set of selectmen? I'm not sure how.
I think the final would be done by the chairman. Like when we did the light control property, I signed on that.
Okay,
No.
this is good, because we don't do this every day.
Right, I'm talking for the, you're talking for the closing, for the transfer of the deed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that would be the.
But Lisa, you can follow up on, and check on that.
Okay.
Thanks, Phil.
Do we want to vote on the?
Next up, the audit. What did we find out about the audit from last week?
Yep, so, members of the board, there was no discussion during the Whitman Selectmen, meeting last Tuesday of the audit. I did have a conversation with Town Administrator Heineman, and I basically presented the board's view of, having an appetite of going back out to bid on this. And he agrees on his end. So he has all the bid documents. He's just waiting for our board to decide tonight if we want to move forward with that process. He has the bid documents, so he'll be able to just modify and revise the dates and things like that, and then move forward with the bid process.
So we want to put it out to bid.
Yes.
Okay, what do you guys think?
Well, that's,
I agree. I want to get it out to bid. I think we need to get somebody besides TMS, to, do the, audit. And, I like the idea of us going back out, seeing what the price is, seeing who else might be interested, and whatever we've already done on the deregionalization, we can leverage and use for this audit.
Okay.
And I think, did Lincoln say, that he was going to, I know, Lisa, you had said you really, you felt that really it was Whitman's turn to kind of,
yes, well, he has all
yeah.
the draft anyway from the last bid. So
Yeah,
all he has
yeah.
to do is modify the dates, and so there's not a lot of work to do.
well, okay, but the one thing I did have a question about was, we couldn't have anticipated at the time that we originally went out to bid, that COVID would have hit. And I think, given the recent, the recent revelation of the, circuit breaker money and some, maybe, improprieties or inaccuracies, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but, ways that that's been used that it maybe shouldn't have been used. We know we need to look at that, in addition to the things Mr. Stanbrook had outlined. We did not know at the time when we originally went out to RFP that we would need to look at circuit breaker. We also did not know that there would be a tremendous amount of money, ESSER, ARPA, and all of the COVID-related, state and federal funding that clearly has got to be looked at. Those are very, very important. It's large amounts of money. So did you discuss that with Lincoln, that he would MacGyver the current RFP to include those things,
I
or?
did not, but I will discuss it with him. I'll look at the original bid and see what was included, and then discuss it with Lincoln to make sure that the new bid is revised to include all of those areas. All of those pools of money that have, come to light over the past year and a half to 2
Okay.
years.
Mr. Weeks?
I have the same opinion as last week. I can go either way with this, so I'm just
Okay.
kind of listening.
Mr. Hickey?
Last week I was very vocal. I took the opposite side of, or the opposite side of the argument or discussion with Laura. I looked into this further.
Okay.
TMS is the firm that we used for the deregional feasibility study.
Okay.
And just looking into these things over the past week, I would like to, put it out for rebid
Okay.
and see what happens.
Okay. I'm right where Joe is. I'm on the fence with it, so I'm looking for a motion to rebid this audit.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? 4-0. So I'm okay with it. Okay, next up, the town hall holiday schedule, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Day. Sound like we might have, goofed a little bit last week.
Yes, so I proposed the schedule that the selectmen came to an agreement with to, some members of the clerical union. It was not well-received, and there was a little bit of, objection to, our offer. So basically, the union voted to reject the offer of the schedule. So what, I did have a, meeting with department heads, to talk about it, and what the consensus is, and trying, keeping in line with the contract. Now, the contract is worded very convoluted. In one line, it says, if a holiday falls on a regularly scheduled day off, you get a floater. On another line, it says if it's scheduled on a weekend, you get the preceding, like, business day, so Friday or Monday. And then in another part of the contract, it gives this or this, and that was where the focus was with the union. So they focus on the or, and I'm opting for the floaters. So what the consensus is that, town hall remain open on the 23rd, where the board had previously, voted
that's
to
the
propose
Thursday.
closing. That would be Thursday, the 23rd.
Okay.
The union, members would get a floater, 8-hour floater for Christmas. Then town hall is closed on Friday, so they will get another 4-hour floater. So they've opted for 8 hours of floating, for the 4 hours for Christmas Eve, and then the 8 hours for
And that's,
Christmas
you said
Day.
that's what the contract says.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So they've opted
So
for
I
that.
think we have to adhere to the contract.
Yes.
So
And
but town hall will be open then?
Thursday.
open on Thursday, but still closed on Friday, and that way, that gives the department heads, the wage and personnel that fall under the wage and personnel, their 4 hours for Christmas Eve.
Okay, and then the floater they can use whenever they want.
And the floater
Whether it's this year,
for
next year,
Saturday, the 8 hours floater for the wage and personnel / department head, and then we have two department heads that are under contract. So they will use 8 hours for Christmas at another time, so they get an 8-hour floater.
Okay, so why don't we should probably vote to, oh, I'm sorry, you're not done?
So, well, we have New Year's too, but what we want to do is we want to vote to rescind the holiday schedule that we
that doesn't
voted on last week.
Okay. All right, so yeah, so we should vote to rescind the decision we made last week as far as closing on Thursday, and then motion to adhere to the contract.
My head's gonna explode, so I can't even make this
So
motion.
moved.
I'm so like.
I'm
I
gonna, so
can't.
moved.
Second.
Okay, this is to rescind last week's vote regarding closing town hall on Thursday and
Yep.
giving them which dates.
Right.
No, we're not, no.
That was
We're
to
not closing
rescind.
town hall on Thursday.
No, we're
We're
rescinding.
rescinding
that.
Rescinding that,
Okay.
right, we're rescinding
That was a
the,
vote we
the
made
holiday
last week.
schedule that
We're gonna
we
rescind that.
voted on last week.
I just want the people to understand, they're listening.
Nobody's
you know,
going
what
to
we're doing.
understand trying to follow that, absolutely nobody.
We're
This has
past the
been
point of
really,
getting anyone
really a
confused.
very complex,
Yeah.
I mean, more than people can think of, because of just, we've got two different, we've got wage of personnel, we've got union, and then we do have some department heads that have contracts. Then, you know, we have a Friday, Saturday, and we have a contract that's kind of all over the place with this or that or this, so,
It's all right, as long as we
it's
get
been
it right
complex.
before the
So we're
holiday,
trying to
that's
get it
what
right.
matters.
And we're gonna start looking at
There's
next
no
year.
book to learn how to be a selectman, so long as we get it right, when we make a mistake, we fix it, as long as we get it right.
Right.
All those in favor?
To the extent that there's an opportunity for us to clarify the language so that we don't lose hours of our life, we'll never get back talking
Probably not a
about
bad
this
idea.
again next year.
But
I-
we can do that in 3 years when the contract comes up
Yeah,
for
just kind of
renegotiation.
peg it
But,
as something.
what we'll do is, where you will iron out this year, we'll look at next year very far away, like in January of this year, because next year won't be as complex, because Christmas Eve will be on Saturday and Sunday, so it won't be as complex as this year, but we'll
That's what she
iron
said.
out that time way ahead of
Remember
time.
she said that, Jim.
So,
Okay, so we're voting, we have a
Get a motion,
motion
second.
and a second, so we're gonna vote on rescinding. All those in favor? 4-0. Okay, now we're looking for a motion to, help me out.
Looking at Jim, I'm looking at Jim, so this is, I'm looking at Jim because this is a super complicated issue. If you don't have context, no one's gonna know what we're talking about. And Jim called all of it, so I'm gonna follow his lead on this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we can make the motion to give the union a day and a half of floaters because of where the two holidays fall. 3 if you want to include New Year's Day. But Christmas Eve is a holiday for union employees. And you have Christmas Day. So they get 12 hours, a day and a half of floaters. They can use them whenever they want.
Okay.
And that's basically all we're gonna do. So they would have, with the 3 holidays, they would have 2.5 days of floaters, because New Year's Day falls on a Saturday. And that's
Are
what
you making that motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Okay, now can I explain everything? Because I think this, excuse me, is a valuable lesson that we learned. I'm a Teamster 31 years, and I thought I mentioned last week that no matter what we did, it's not gonna fly. All as the union wants is to be asked. And it would have been a simple thing, just to ask what they wanted and take the input from them.
Right.
Now, Lisa, I think we got this whole thing done without any lawyer fees from either side, am I correct?
well, we did have to bring the lawyers in, yes,
We did?
we did.
Okay.
Yep.
Next time we won't.
Well, we got it right. I mean, that
Because
was-
of the communications and just sitting down, talking about it. I would like to make a second motion, to close town hall on Fridays. That way, December 24th. I think there are gonna be a total of 7 people here.
The 24th?
The 24th, Friday the 24th.
So we'll really be open on the 24th?
Yes. Some of them have in their contract, that they have Christmas Eve off,
Okay.
but some are wage and personnel and they don't. It's Christmas Eve. No one is gonna be doing town hall business on a Friday anyways.
Nobody's arguing with you.
Well,
Yeah,
only,
I'm fine with it,
Yeah.
as long as, just this one time.
well, it's not gonna happen for another 8 years.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things that we agreed on last week
Yes.
when we were putting this together, so I think it's a fine nod to all the hard work that's been done
Good.
Yeah.
for
You
everybody.
wanna make that motion, Mr. Hickey?
I'd like to
And
make
it's
the
a live
motion
and
to
learn.
close.
You know, it's a live and learn for me.
Yeah.
You know, my first dealing with it, and yes, we should have asked what, the union, what they wanted. We were kind of just crunched for time, waiting for things, and, I learned from my mistakes and errors, and going forward, I know exactly what we need to do, and, there's a lot of respect there for the union and everything, and.
Yeah, no offense was
you know,
intended at all.
absolutely.
I
No
think we
offense
thought we
on
were
any
doing-
week.
No, it's
Well,
fine.
we just tried to come up with a plan to,
Yeah.
let all of the employees enjoy the holidays with their family.
So I have a motion on the table to close December 24th, this
Second.
coming, oh, next Friday, actually.
Yeah.
Second it.
And it's seconded. All those in favor? 4-0. Lisa, we are now closed on the 24th.
Okay,
All right. Thank you, and apologize to the unions for us, please.
absolutely.
Appointments. Vote to appoint Lara Brown, Esquire, to proceed with public auction on 62 Ocean Ave and 68 Wood Street. Looking for a motion.
Oh, actually, before you motion, Wood Street, it's actually 69 Wood Street,
Oh.
not 68.
Okay.
So I don't
As
know
long
if
as
I
that
just,
reflects properly in
yeah,
the paperwork?
yeah, well, there's a copy of the assessor,
Okay.
that says it's 69 and not 68.
Yeah, just when they go to the auction, just.
Oh, yeah,
Please
yeah.
make sure it says 69.
We
Yeah,
did have
no,
a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Okay, looking for a motion.
So,
Second.
All those in favor? 4-0. Okay, one-day liquor license, looking for an approval for June 4th, wedding, June 12th, a wedding, August 28th, a wedding.
so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? 4-0. Town administrator report.
Yes, so very quickly, just to give, so I found out today, light control, the buildings, the work on that to board those buildings up is gonna start tomorrow.
Awesome.
So we've just been waiting. Well, you know, we've had the quote, we've been waiting for the company to get us in the schedule. Everybody's
great.
very
That is
busy.
great.
So tomorrow, that work is scheduled to start. Just a little update, COVID numbers in Hanson, got 120, cases right now in Hanson. So please, people, continue to take precautions, social distance,
Are you
masks,
telling me that it's up
vaccinations.
100 from last week?
They've got 120 cases right now,
But didn't you
yes.
tell us it was 21 last week?
Last week, I was told it was 21.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So the cases are spreading.
I think it's like that everywhere, though.
Yeah.
Yes. And then 69 Wood Ave over 68, so that's already there. And last but not least, just wishing everybody happy, safe, and healthy holidays next week, and Happy New Year.
All right, excellent.
Thanks, Lisa.
So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn, and we're gonna be going into wage and personnel.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? 4-0.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thank you guys
Merry
for hanging
Christmas,
in there.
happy holidays.
See you next year.
Yes, 3 times next month.
That's where all the jokes come out. See you next year, everybody. See you next year.
I used to love to say that.
Yeah.
Do you guys wanna take a quick break, or you just wanna?
December 14, 2021, what time is it? It's supposed to be at 8, but we're starting at 8:28. Selectmen's Reading Room, Town Hall, open session. So we're voting to approve the meeting minutes. So which ones did you happen to say we have to table?
629, we're gonna scratch.
629, we're gonna strike.
All right, we're gonna strike that. So if you don't mind taking a peek at 9:13:21, it says, there's a typo on there, so, extra 2. And then 9:28:21, look for a motion to accept the minutes if you feel comfortable doing so.
I just wanna double check that I was here.
Wait a minute.
Let's go.
We don't have who was present.
So we got the 3rd.
So, I mean, the 28th doesn't even have any, that was, those were.
Oh, I'm assuming
minutes.
that's 2021, okay, yeah.
All right.
This one's hard for me. The September 28th, it just seemed, the way this reads, we only,
Neither one of these do we have who's present.
Okay, so in the September, I was not here in September,
No, but how can we, shouldn't that be part of the minutes?
yes. on the top.
Yeah,
Who's present?
we need to have that, we need to have who's present, and then
Okay.
the 9:28 minutes, did we really just hold a meeting just to vote on the minutes and then close it out?
We did do that at one meeting, I assume it was that one.
Yeah, my memory is just not that good for that far back, I don't know.
So I'll have her, we'll correct the 13th, September 13th, to add the, attendance. And I'm kind of surprised, because Amanda's,
We don't have attendance on the one for the 28th either,
No.
though.
yeah, so I will, I'll reach out to her
Want
and
to table the
just
whole thing?
make sure she, yeah, let's table those two.
Okay. So we'll table those,
Okay.
but those are the only thing that's on the agenda for today, so accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A second? All right, all those in favor? All right. Thank you very much.